Hello and welcome to Experience Phenom Talent Marketplace. I'm Tom Tate and I'm on the marketing team here at Phenom. On behalf of the entire Phenom team, we are so delighted to be here and we are especially delighted that you're joining us. Whether you are watching live or catching the on-demand replay, we truly appreciate your time and your attention. Phenom has a single bold purpose: to help 1 billion people find the right job. Not a million, a billion. And we are well on our way. And we can't do this without our amazing customers, our partners, and community from around the globe. So thank you to all those participating and watching today. Finding the right job goes far beyond talent acquisition, because the right job for you today will likely not be the right job for you in the future. As humans and as employees, we have a natural tendency to grow and evolve, which is especially important as the organizations we work for and the world at large continues to evolve as well, often at a rapid clip. Because of this, Phenom's intelligent talent experience platform encompasses the end-to-end talent journey. And in today's program, we are going to focus in on the employee experience, Phenom Talent Marketplace, and the unique and innovative features that live within it. First, we'll hear from our CHRO, Jess Elmquist, for a brief opening keynote, followed by deep dives into market observations, product demonstrations, and real-world results with leaders from our strategy and product teams. After that, we'll close out the program with a discussion with Ashley Blackmore, Director of North America Talent Acquisition and Operations at Newell Brands. You'll definitely recognize some of their brands like Rubbermaid, Coleman, Sharpie, and Yankee Candle. Everything will be available on demand, so if you can't stay for the full presentation, no problem. Be sure to bookmark this page, come back when you can, and share it with your colleagues. We'll have some exciting new product announcements along the way that you won't want to miss. Now, to kick things off, let's turn it over to Jess Elmquist, CHRO here at Phenom.
Welcome to Experience Phenom. My name is Jess Elmquist. I'm the CHRO at Phenom and the Chief Evangelist. Previously to Phenom, I was at Lifetime. Many of you might know it as Lifetime Fitness as the CHRO and a user of the Phenom product. So I'm coming in today really introducing you to this idea of upskilling and evolving and retaining employees with the intelligent talent experience as a practitioner. I am incredibly vitally involved myself every day, not only in using the Phenom platform, but having discussions with our employees as well as CHROs and talent executives around the globe, talking about this important aspect of what we're doing. Phenom's whole entire purpose is to help 1 billion people find the right job. And I love that purpose. And we can do that together as we move into an employee experience and building the long-term path for your employees' growth together on a Phenom-empowered, AI-empowered platform. In every industry, we know that the strongest companies are those investing in employee growth. We know that's the case because every employee right now is approachable and poachable, whether it's a new opportunity from a comp standpoint, a title, scope of their business, or even being able to work remotely. And so all of a sudden now, moving isn't in the decision matrix for any employee that's looking to actually make a transition. We need to be aware of that and know that that's the new talent economy. We have to be aware of that so that we can actually, inside our organizations, make sure that we have a dynamic mission and purpose, that we've created the values, and then ultimately have a platform where employees know that they can engage, plan their career, and make a home in our organization long term. We're competing everywhere for talent, and we know that our competitors are also doing the same. So we have to be vitally aware of where we're going and how we're inviting our employees to jump in and be a part of this process. And so empowering self-directed career planning and increasing the speed at which you upskill and reskill employees drives retention and profitability. We also know that that self-directed aspect of career planning is incredibly important. We also know that old legacy tools really struggle to be able to empower our employees to be able to make those decisions. One-point solutions, there's no one true source of data. And so because of that, it can slow down the process or we can have inaccurate determinations of where employees want to go and how they want to get there. But we also know that we have to get retention and growth right. It becomes kind of an existential question for all of us as company leaders, because we also know the headwinds around the battle for talent and the number of jobs available comparatively to those who are looking for work is actually still incredibly skewed. So we have to be aware that once we actually have someone that has decided to join our organization, we have to make sure that recruiters and talent acquisition leaders, as well as career planning HR professionals, we have to make sure that we actually don't have a revolving door. And that's why skills are so incredibly important. The results of this is that every company is on that journey for talent transformation. And we have to invite our employees to join that journey as quickly as possible. There used to be an era where we said, hey, get a job, put your head down, and in a year, let's talk about where you want to go. And I think as I'm talking to CHROs and talent executives around the country, what I'm finding is that at that moment, that recruiter connects with that candidate makes the decision to join the company. I encourage people to ask that employee about what they want to do, almost as if they're looking over the shoulder of the current work and jumping in and planning for their long-term career. And when they do, think about this diagram as this revolving opportunity for employees to self-direct and come in and make and create a plan for themselves in our organizations. A place to get recognized, to develop skills, to master their current role while they're potentially being mentored or get gig opportunities to actually experience the next role. It's a critical part of what we're doing, and speed and accuracy is an important part of all of this. We know then when we do that, we see that our employees can then start to build those skills, celebrate those skills in places that are accessible for all to see, and the employee can actually see how they're progressing against their goals for their career planning and where they want to go in the organization. This becomes such a value add in the intelligent talent experience. This experience and opportunity to engage where we're bringing together all of the elements of data, people, and interactions. So now our talent acquisition leaders, our HR leaders, our employees, and our leaders in the organization are connecting at that intersection of the intelligent talent experience and ultimately creating this environment where everyone is clear and aligned on where our employees can go. We know that this is a demand because our stakeholders have changed. We now have managers that are no longer saying, well, hiring isn't my day job. We now have people that are responsible and are involved in evolving their talent. HR is no longer administrative or tactical. In the new talent economy, there's a demand for this proactive business partner and creating talent experiences for each employee, each role, and each department. We know that HRS is no longer just configuring back of the house workflows, but they're building employee intelligence to be used on a daily basis, making great decisions for employees who really want to join to grow, not just to work in their current role. And finally, our business leaders are getting consistent communication and data where they can make really great decisions about where they're going, how they're growing, and who is going to fit that next key role that's open. So inside of this incredible experience that Phenom can empower, our employees become more valuable. They can develop their skills, evolve their careers, and they can do that through a multitude of different connected pathways. Along with that, then, our managers can then engage with those employees, making sure that they're continuing to be productive and encouraging them to be productive tomorrow. And in that, getting more productivity and more success out of their business than ever before. Our HR teams now sit on a balcony that they can look down and see the entire game board of an organization, identify the skills and competency gaps, help leaders plug those gaps, make sure that we're upskilling the current people and making sure they know that they have a path to be a part of the organization long term. That's the experience that Phenom wants to build and support organizations to do. So as we come to the close of this introduction today, I want to thank you for your time, but also I want to invite you to think about three things. As we think about employee skills and competencies, think about these things as you go through the rest of the time today. It improves retention. It accelerates development so our employees not only are optimistic about today, but they can see their future at our organizations as well. And then ultimately, it brings transparency to skills and abilities to help us as organizations plan over the long haul to be able to have a great experience powered by Phenom. Enjoy the rest of your time.
Welcome to our first session. I'm Lindsay Morrow, Vice President of Strategy here at Phenom. Companies everywhere have been forced to confront overwhelming external challenges over the past few years. The global economy has been unstable. The supply and demand of talent has been unpredictable. Organizations are attempting to reclaim or redefine their work culture in the wake of the pandemic, either going back to the office full-time, designing a hybrid model, or embracing remote work. Deskless or hourly workers, many of whom have never had the opportunity to work remote, are leaving their industries in pursuit of new opportunities. Employees are caught in the middle. LinkedIn headlines highlight layoffs that continue to strike as companies restructure after a year of aggressive growth and hiring. From the Great Resignation of 2021 or the productivity paranoia of 2022 and countless other trending themes, it may feel like an endless cycle of doom and gloom. Fortunately, today's event and our featured sessions will showcase a way to break the cycle. HR is in need of a solution that moves employees from uncertainty to clarity and helps organizations develop an agile and more capable workforce that can respond to fluctuating conditions. To fill this need, organizations have turned to talent marketplaces. We believe that talent marketplaces represent the next evolution in connecting employees with opportunities, whether that's a future role, a short-term gig or project, the perfect mentor, or even a learning and development path. And we believe that the strongest companies today are investing in the growth of their employees. In this session, we'll take a deeper look at how Phenom uses AI to individualize the employee experience. We recognize that every employee has different needs. The right platform must create the right moments at the right time for each individual, taking into consideration their unique profile, skills, job history, and even tenure. We'll see that an integrated talent marketplace can engage employees and help them evolve, create a culture of growth and development, reduce top-line attrition of people and skills, and change course during these challenging times. Agility, resilience, and transformation are no longer marketing buzzwords, they are a reality. For forward-thinking executives, your CEOs and CHROs, adoption of a talent marketplace can create a wealth of data and insights at the enterprise level. And for HRIS teams, your implementers, an integrated platform can help tame the unruly web of duct tape point solutions. For managers, a talent marketplace will help you identify the skills gaps and career paths of your direct reports, supporting you and them throughout the journey. And of course, employees feel the commitment of their organization to their future, equipped with visibility of open opportunities, clarity around their path to progress, and tools to reach the next step in their personalized destination and journey. Later today, in our second session, we'll explore the importance of skills and competencies as a universal language. These are the building blocks that power mobility, career pathing, and workforce planning. We'll discuss the emergence of skills intelligence and showcase how technology can provide enterprise insights that were once unattainable. But first, to demonstrate the Phenom Talent Marketplace, I'd like to introduce our product director, Laura Kantorovic.
At this point, I don't think we need to convince anyone of the importance of a smart, comprehensive, and useful employee experience. Lindsay just listed out all the reasons why conversations have quickly moved from, do I really need a product that helps me develop and retain my talent? And instead to, which solution makes the most sense for me and my organization? Today, I'm going to be talking you through Phenom's employee product, our talent marketplace, and sharing why hundreds of enterprises across the globe have chosen Phenom on their journey to making smarter talent decisions. Phenom's employee product is a part of Phenom's end-to-end intelligent talent experience platform that is powered by enterprise intelligence, which my colleague Kumar will be chatting about in a bit. Let's jump into it. The first thing I want to touch on is our employee platform. Throughout my demo, I'm going to be showing you a number of different ways our platform has leveraged over 2 billion data sets to provide each person in the talent experience the most personalized, relevant, and supportive experience possible. This is really what differentiates Phenom from other solutions in the market. We've been aggregating data across the full talent experience lifecycle for over 10 years. That means we've been aggregating, validating, and cross-referencing data around job families, career frameworks, skills, and talent journeys in talent acquisition and talent management for over a decade. This is the data that fuels every experience and the talent marketplace we're going to demo to ensure it's as relevant and useful for every single user. Here's a real-time way this data is enhancing our talent marketplace. Let's say I just started at Phenom. Without having to put any information into the platform, it already knows my tenure and gives me recommendations on how to kick off my development journey. Alternatively, if I've been at a company for 6 months, 12 months, or 24 months, those recommendations would be totally different. The recommendations are different based on my interests, skills, and preferences as well. Let's see how that works. Here's my employee profile. It's been auto-populated with my skills, interests, goals, and other important development data based on Phenom's HRIS and ATS. It has also taken my resume and parsed information for me as well. You can easily import details from LinkedIn as well. But I also received an email recommending me to update my skills and my profile because I'm about to have a mid-year review with my boss. I can go into my profile and update everything. My boss has visibility into this as well, which Kumar will show you what that interface looks like in a bit. So I'm going to update my skills and my skill proficiencies so I can really be explicit about my depth of knowledge. My manager and my peers can also rate my skills, ensuring that my data is as comprehensive and holistic as possible. I can also update proficiencies. These proficiencies can be completely adjusted and configured based on any organization's preferences and scale ratings. Finally, I can add competencies, which have been automated based on my organization's preferences. Again, everything is configurable. I can't stress enough the importance of having up-to-date, relevant, and comprehensive data. While Kumar is going to speak with you about how we infer data, but we also know that user engagement and user usage is one of the best ways to ensure humans are kept in the loop and making their data as most relevant as possible. By making their information as relevant as possible, it's also making their experience as personalized to them as possible. The way that we support this at Phenom is to communicating with them at relevant times in relevant places to ensure they're using our products whenever they need. We have integrations into Teams and Slack, as well as a CRM, which enables you to engage users through email and SMS. Everything is configurable to be branded the way that you want and to support the rules of your organization. We remind users to update profiles before mid-year reviews, fill out a career path when they first start, connect with a mentor to get a network going, take an online course to learn a skill that they don't have but need for their upcoming promotion. These notifications, again, are sent at the most relevant times in the places that employees use the most and help ensure that employees, their managers, and leadership have the most up-to-date information so they can all action off of it. Of course, there's more to me than just my skills and competencies. I can also include my short-term and long-term goals as well as my interests. Interests don't have to be related to work, which is very helpful when matching people to connect peers to increase a sense of belonging. We'll show you how this works in a bit. So let's continue to explore how Phenom can help employees level up in their existing roles and beyond. Mapping your trajectory at an organization starts with effective career pathing. Once a career path has been set, the entire experience can be optimized to help you guide along the way, from recommending the right courses, connecting you with the perfect mentor, and more. Identifying the right upskilling and reskilling opportunities for each individual employee is a key function. So let's say I just started at Phenom. Like I said, I would be prompted with an email or an SMS that told me to go ahead and create my own career path to make sure I'm starting to think about and have a vision for what my career trajectory at this organization may be. Currently, I'm a director of product, and I'm provided a list of 5 top recommendations of a possible next role for me at Phenom. Also, I'm provided other roles as well that may not be in my top 5 recommendations based on my skills, my interests, or my goals, but other ones that may be suitable for me based on skills that I have or other ideas in the organization. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll click the next role that I'm interested in. I'll see a match analysis based on the skills that I have versus the skills that I need in order to achieve that next role. I go ahead and I select that role. And then I'm also provided with additional roles in a similar way that was shown before. Let's say I'm going to click on product experience, VP of product experience. Again, see a match analysis, and I can dive in and I can start seeing what are the skills that I possess for the role versus the skills that are actually missing. So now that I understand what this high-level career path is, I have visibility into this all the time, and I'm empowered to make decisions based on what my personal career goals are. I can understand all of the skills that are required for this next role, and I can even start digging into online courses to better understand and better achieve those skills in an easy way as well. Learning, both formal and informal, is critical to get the skills you need. Phenom integrates with a number of popular LMS and LXP platforms to present the right learning opportunities at exactly the right time, whether that's on the home page or on a job description page. Most of our integrations are bidirectional, so as a course or certification is completed in a learning platform, the employee's profile is updated to reflect that as well. Now that I understand my career trajectory and aspirations within the organization, I know what skills I need to achieve those. We just discussed how I can achieve those goals or those skills by upskilling through an online course, but there are a few other ways that we can do that as well. I am able to join a resource group to connect with peers, do a short-term project to explore how I can learn those real-time skills, or get a mentor to obtain those skills as well. So let's start with projects or gigs. Projects can be leveraged to provide real-world experience for employees that haven't had a chance to really do the thing that they want to do. Here at Phenom, we've seen sales reps make the move from sales to marketing. A short-term project to write a blog post, do a social media marketing campaign, or help with the competitive analysis can introduce someone traditionally in sales to skills and activities that would be required for marketing. In the wake of layoffs or departures, gigs and projects can even help democratize the completion of work within a department. If a writer leaves, extra writing assignments can be picked up by other team members if they have the capacity. These gigs continue to support employees as they get more skills related to their career paths and their journeys. Here are real-time gigs that are recommended to me specifically, enabling me and my organization to practice agile workforce as much as possible. You'll see again that I have a fit score telling me my best match to the gigs or projects that are available and ones that maybe I'm a little bit less qualified for. Another way to connect people with the skills they need is to connect them with people within the organizations that can guide them. Through mentoring, we can match employees with internal mentors to help them learn from someone who has possibly been there, done that. Once a mentoring relationship has been established, Phenom provides tools to help facilitate meetings, share documents, capture mentorship goals, and take notes. Mentoring is configurable and can support many different types of mentoring programs in any organization, from reverse mentoring to onboarding as well. I can find a mentor, even become a mentor if I want, and I can do so by searching skills that I want to learn and connect with people that have those skills and that are open for mentorships as well. Because we know that many organizations are global, I also can connect with people in different areas as well, areas around the globe. I can also search for people based on mentorship goals, mentorship language, different communication styles as well. The talent marketplace continues to provide benefit to our clients' employees, not just for their existing job when people are hoping to upskill, but also when they're ready for a new opportunity as well. And let's say I'm ready to explore another job, whether it's because I'm ready to move into my next role or I've been at a company for a long enough time to be able to evolve into my next role. I can easily search for jobs that are available and ones that match specifically for me. I can explore opportunities. I also will be shown jobs that are most relevant to my career journey and ones that are related to the skills that I have and the different motivators and goals that I have as well. I'll be provided with a fit score to understand why and if I would be strong for these specific goals. I also can provide alerts for these jobs as well, so I can constantly get information about whether or not I want these jobs to be sent to me via email or SMS. Additionally, we know that employees often have questions that can't necessarily be answered by anyone. We have a chatbot at Phenom that can help me explore jobs, refer friends, or answer any other questions that I may have about the platform as well. And all of the chatbot FAQs can be customized and configured based on your organization's preferences. All the answers are built for you, so building intents and responses is easy as ever. Let's say I'm really satisfied with my current role. That doesn't mean that I am not able to help other people in my organizations find new role as well. So from a referral perspective, I can look to see all of the open jobs at Phenom. I can see where there are priority jobs as well. And these are jobs that can be updated on the admin side if there are jobs that you're wanting to really make sure is available within your organization or push within the organization. You're able to turn those on and off. And I can easily go ahead and refer somebody. So here I can go ahead and start referring somebody to a product manager job overall. So let's say I'm going to refer my friend Tom to a job at Phenom. I can go ahead and just continue him down the road and just refer him through. There is a referral leaderboard where you can track to see where you're placed in terms of referring people. And this is also configured so that if an organization has incentives around referrals, you can kind of track what those are there as well. So this referral leaderboard is really, really useful. Now, all of this is great if your employees are actively logging in, seeing opportunities, and pursuing their career growth. Not everyone is going to do this. So we have other features within our talent marketplace to give employees a reason to join and stay. These features boost the overall adoption of the platform while creating a culture of belonging and inclusivity. I can join a resource group, and through resource groups, I can learn about all the different communities that are available at my organization. And again, this is all configurable to your specific organization based on your specific organization's needs. You can see all of the people, all of the communities that I belong to, and I can discover more communities to engage with as well, to stay connected with my peers and to learn more skills as well. We also have a new feature at Phenom, which is called Connect. It enables you to connect with people all around the globe in different ways, so you can start building your network on a more personal and one-on-one basis. We know that some people enjoy to connect with people more one-on-one as opposed to groups, and so this is a great opportunity for people to connect with one another through any different means that is best for them. Finally, because Talent Marketplace is built on a content management system, you can create as many content pages as you need. At Phenom, our team has built a hub of employee news and content. If I wanted to rewatch an all-hands recording, see what internal events are coming up, or even listen to an employee-curated Spotify playlist, I can do all of this within the Phenom's content pages. And finally, the Talent Marketplace supports employees and our clients even after employees have transitioned out of the company. Our market has experienced intense whiplash when it comes to employee retention. The Great Resignation proved that people could and would leave for a better opportunity. And the mass tech layoffs have reminded us that change can always be right around the corner. With our alumni product, we support our clients by engaging the workforce they want to keep in touch with and vice versa. Connections with old colleagues are made easier, as are insights into job postings and events as well. The more employees are using the platform, the more data and signals Phenom is able to collect. And the more data and signals we are able to collect, the better we can have a personalized experience. This creates a powerful flywheel that only improves the value Phenom can provide over time. We hope you enjoyed this demonstration of Phenom Talent Marketplace and the many components within it. Everything is optimized to help employees find the next opportunity, whether in their current role or beyond. As I mentioned, Phenom is very customizable and completely configurable. If you want to learn more and have a one-on-one conversation about the demo, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Skills and competencies are a focus now because what we've learned over the last decade is that it's a very valuable way, a very reliable way to determine the state of an individual, the state of an organization, and the state of the organization's operation inside their vertical. So we lean on skills because we've done a very good job of understanding the relationship between skills and have built these ontologies that are very, very precise in terms of the patterns that we can create about an individual or the patterns of work that an organization might have available. So skills are readily identifiable. We've been using skills for decades now. And what especially machine learning has allowed us to do is identify more skills and the relationship to those skills much faster. And that sort of speed to market with that information is incredibly important. No matter who the persona is, whether it's the individual or the leader or whomever it may be, you have this equality of outcome, which I think is really important. For leaders, what they see, I think, are four key elements of their organization. The first is they get a really good understanding of what are the skills that my organization possesses as a whole, at a department layer, at an individual leader layer, and my team that I'm trying to cultivate, manage, and help grow. I really get a good picture of what we're good at. And I also get a picture of where we might be challenged, right? And that gives me an opportunity to provide some upskilling in the organization. The second is I get a picture of my work, all the work that I have to offer. What are the skills that work is requiring of us as an organization? Is it the right skills? Does it match what the skills that my individual folks have, that my team possesses, that my organization possesses? So, we talk about dissonance. There could be a dissonance there, and the only way to uncover that is to have at least those two data points. But we go further than that, and we look at what are the offerings for learnings of the organization. What are each individual learning? What are we learning as teams? What are we learning as an organization? The last data point is an external view, and that is, let's look at the verticals in which the organization operates and what are they learning? What's our competition doing? How are they doing it differently? And learn from that as well. Does that match the previous three data points that we're looking at? So this gives us these four different data points: what the individual and teams know, what the work says we need to know, what are we learning as an organization, what are the verticals outside of our organization that we compete with, what are they doing differently? This really gives the organization a snapshot in real time of exactly how they're performing and where they're able to go. And this is data that can only be derived today through artificial intelligence and machine learning when we're looking at skills. In times of economic uncertainty, this data becomes critical to an organization. If we look back at how we did things pre-pandemic, it was literally growth at any cost. Just keep hammering the market, flood it with talent, and we're just going to grow and we're going to be able to, to take a lot of risk. Now we're thinking that maybe growth at all costs isn't the right approach, that efficient growth is far more valuable. In order to grow efficiently, you need data, because it means you have so much time, so much resources, so much budget to be able to invest in something or keep investing in something, and you need a more predictable outcome because the risk factor goes through the roof when we are maybe coming into a recession. This data becomes a very valuable set of attributes that an organization can look at to say, we only have so many resources and budget. If we focus it here, then we're going to have a very predictable outcome. And maybe we can continue to grow, but efficiently. And the second point is sustainability of that growth. Lots of companies have gone through these high growth periods where you get 6 to 12 months where you're just killing it and growing very, very quickly. And now what we're seeing is some of those companies are now going through periods of contraction, because they grew too quickly and they can't sustain it. So this efficient growth is both efficient in the moment and sustainable over time. And this data over time tells them in real time how they're performing against that efficient, sustainable growth. So it's incredibly important to have this at hand for leadership and individuals in order to keep the wheels turning. I think for the individual, the skills identification is incredibly important because it lets them know exactly where they stand, with respect to their own experience, their own education, even their location being a part of that, because every location, every region can have an influence on the skills that you learn or the skills that you need to learn. So if we can help an individual identify their core skill set, they have a better understanding of themselves. And what's really interesting is prior to machine learning helping us identify an individual's skills, most individuals are able to identify 15 to 20 skills. They may not even understand the full relationship between their own skill sets, but that's what they identify. The reality is that anyone with any level of experience, 1, 2, 3 years or beyond, actually possesses 60 to 100 skills. And so by showing them the depth of the skills that they have, we give them an opportunity to better represent themselves, give them a higher degree of confidence when they're negotiating for that next role, or they want to upskill something and identify the relationship between those things. I think that's really important. This is new information to them, but we do it in a way that it is reliable, it's understandable, and they can trust it, and then they can move forward from that point on. When you get this right, I think the benefits become very obvious. You see organizations accelerate very efficiently. When you don't get it right, or when there is a dissonance, in the tools that you use or the lack of tools that you might not have access to, it's very difficult to put that picture together. And the challenge is when you don't get it right, you may not be fully representing that individual or the organization in terms of what is in the best interest of both. And you actually may harm at the individual level, harm that relationship because you don't have a level of reliability or accuracy in the use of something like machine learning to harmonize that data together. And now I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Kumar, our Executive Director of Product Management. He's going to demonstrate Phenom's enterprise talent intelligence and the impact that it can have on talent engagement, talent development, and workforce planning.
Thank you very much, Cliff. And hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today, we are going to talk a little bit about the core technologies that we use to power this whole intelligence for your enterprise. We're going to talk a little bit about our approach and specifically give you insights about what frameworks we've developed to help your organizations design career frameworks for your company. So if we start this off, if you look at talent retention is on everybody's mind today. And employees' experience and satisfaction are at an all-time low, especially given what's happening in the market now. And when we look at the key drivers for employees to stay and grow their careers, it's these three. It's the career and evolution aspects that they are interested in, culture and communication, and compensation and benefits. We really call this the magic triangle for an employee. And for us as Phenom, we really operate in the career and evolution space, helping enterprises retain their talent and grow them as future leaders. When it comes to employees overall, we all know that the number one reason employees leave companies is because of lack of career development and personal upskilling opportunities. So how do we address that, right? So if you're an organization that is focused around growth, retaining employees and growing them becomes really important. A lot of organizations have started their journey on implementing solutions that help with employee retention and growth, right? And how is it done today? Mostly talent managers, talent management leaders are meeting with every department. They are identifying key functional competencies for that particular department. They're identifying critical roles within each department, mapping out these competencies to these critical roles, identifying what levels of proficiencies are required for these roles, and essentially coming out with almost a career architecture or a catalog that is being published for managers. And this process repeats department after department. So what's wrong with this approach? This entire approach is extremely laborious and time consuming, right? Because it takes a lot of effort, a lot of people coming together and deciding what an architecture can look like. And managers don't use this architecture very effectively. They might be confused on how to effectively deploy this architecture to help retain and grow their employee base. When all of this is happening, employees are still sort of in the dark. They are still not very clear on what potential opportunities or growth options they have within the company. They start to look for jobs outside of the company. Let's say we do still roll out an architecture, it can become obsolete very quickly, right? We've had instances where some of our customers are saying that they did this massive exercise a year and a half back, and now it's completely outdated and they have to redo this again. There's also this complex equation of skills and competency requirements that are constantly evolving. Even if you come out with an architecture, the requirements for the new roles, the evolution of those roles require different levels of skills and competencies. And on top of it, employees may not be logging into internal platforms and updating their skill profiles. So just depending on an existing career framework or a built-out career framework, and depending on employees to come in and build their profiles within the platform is not enough to give the right type of career opportunities for your employees. So how do we do this? How do we fix these problems? The whole equation is all about getting the right stakeholders together on a common platform. It's the talent executives, the managers, the employees and the executives all coming in play and sharing data and intelligence to drive employee retention and growth. And with that, I want to briefly introduce enterprise talent intelligence. So this is a platform that Phenom has built to specifically showcase an insight into the intelligence that we have developed from within a particular organization. And what does that look like, right? So we've taken a layered approach for bringing out what is traditionally a career architecture framework into this evolutionarily talent intelligence platform. So the four layers are the foundational layer, the context layer, the feedback layer, and the experience layer. So foundation layer is what we already know, right? We have a massive data set based on which we've analyzed those profiles, those, let's say, requisitions, those skills, and we've built our own ontology of skills, titles, title relationships, title progressions, all within our ecosystem. So even before you deploy our capability, you already have all of this pre-developed. The next step is to get all the stakeholders on a common platform. So the way we do it is we first start with the foundations. Maybe you've built an enterprise career framework. We have industry and market intelligence that we can layer on top of that. And there's a role and skill ontology and potentially a competency ontology that can be leveraged that we've already built out. We can look at employee career paths that have happened in the last 10 years and say these are the potential career paths that are possible in the industry in this geography. Manager succession plans or overall progression of candidates and employees across titles is that intelligence that we already have and built out of the box. Now comes the enterprise context. So from your organization, we can understand a lot of data points. You have HCM data that has some intelligence about employee skills and their progressions. You have ATS data, maybe with your acquisitions, that's giving you some insights on what skill requirements your managers have. You have maybe company career sponsored paths. You have learning data, mentor data, any high performance individuals, flight risks, gigs, mentorship. All of that we can include as a data set to help build your enterprise talent intelligence. With that, we've built several products. The first one we're going to talk about is the Enterprise Talent Intelligence platform. This manifests into various experience layers, which is really the career pathing aspects, the succession planning products that we are working on, mentoring, gigs, and all of that also feeds back into an intelligence that goes back to your TA function too. It really captures skill preferences, role preferences, title preferences that can actually work on the TA space from a recruiting and personalization point of view. So with this, let's take a deeper look at what this platform has to offer. What you see on your screen here is the Phenom's Enterprise Talent Intelligence platform. This is a platform which showcases some of the intelligence coming out of our AI and allows you to really manage a lot of this that influences outcomes on certain other products. So let's take a look at this. This is my enterprise. I have 525 active roles within the company, 1,700 employees, a lot of skills, and some insights into some of the jobs that we have on the platform that can help us analyze some of the skill requirements that are required to associate them to the role. The dashboard also talks about some of the critical roles. These could be self-identified, or the system has intelligence to identify certain critical roles in certain areas, aligning to your business and bring those out. And gives you a good landscape of the top skills that you have in your organization. So it gives you how many employees have certain skills, how many roles probably have those skill requirements, and really correlates that to top skills, and also starts to highlight some of the skill gaps that you may have. As we move further, we talk about career progressions, right? So this is really based out of all the past data that you may have, all the intelligence that is being generated out of the network, that gives you a real-time view of what career progressions are happening right now and what people are doing. What are your employees choosing as potential career paths in the product? Moving into specifically roles, right? So these are details about the role itself. So you have basic details about the role. The system already identifies key skills or competencies from our skills ontology onto these roles. And if you look at the source of some of these roles, you'll see some sources could be just your employee profile. Some sources could be your job descriptions, for example. Some could be behaviors that are exhibited by our candidates or employees in the platform, is all highlighted here. We spoke about human in the loop as a part of a layered approach to dealing with enterprise intelligence. So maybe your skill preference or role preference changes. All you'll need to do is just come in and add your skill as a part of this platform, and this essentially shows up as a result on here. So once you've started building this, a lot of it is organic. Human in the loop allows you to fine tune some of these outcomes. Maybe certain skills is something that you don't want, or certain skills that need to be prioritized. You can do all of that on this platform. Moving into skills, we show you the list of all your skills, all your trending skills, how many employees have those specific skills, what sources we got this from. So this really gives you a good idea of what your skill library looks like overall across different divisions, across different roles, and allows you to really play around with how you want to segment your roles, how do you want to tag certain skills to specific roles all through this platform. You can look at all the employees that have those specific skills and get some intelligence. But here is where you can also visualize those critical career paths that are happening right now, right? So these could, as I mentioned, be based on your past progressions that have happened within the company. This could be based on active behaviors by your employees looking to go into those next roles. And based on some of the skills, the competencies that we've identified as a part of this particular role, we can help identify certain skill gaps between roles as well. So now, when you translate this into an employee experience, your employees can look at what are the requirements for the new role, what skills and proficiency levels they have for the current role, and get a bunch of recommendations on how to upskill and grow from that perspective. So what you're seeing here is two specific roles, maybe a lot of skills adjacency, maybe not much from a competency perspective, but you have all these skills that are required for the next role that you've already identified, and some missing skills that are required for the next role. So this is just basically a delta between the two roles and what new skills employees would need to upskill to get to that role, right? As HR leaders, you also have the ability to boost certain career paths. So for example, let's say you want to promote certain individuals or employees within certain orgs to pick up roles in certain other orgs, you have the ability to boost certain paths. So this input from an org perspective directly translates into the kind of recommendations employees see on the employee profile. You can block certain roles as well. So let's say you don't want certain transitions to happen because of probably how your organization is set up. All that is possible within the framework. So this is a quick insight into how an enterprise can get visibility into their own intelligence, and provide an easy way to manage any profiles, your career architecture, your skill and role associations, all within this platform that has a real-time impact on recommendations that are going out, a real-time impact on what type of employees get recommended the next career paths as a part of the platform. So with this, let's briefly take a look at how this manifests on the employee experience side. So I'm an employee here, and let's say I have my profile. Some of the data on this profile can essentially be added from my HCM data that's coming in. Some of the profile information can be automatically enriched through, let's say, a resume that we may have from a long time back. And also employees can go in and add their own skills. But it's not necessarily required to have a lot of skills on the profile. We can infer a lot based on who the employee is, what their role is, what division they belong to, what geography they are in. And there are some inferential skills that can help with career pathing aspects. So let's say I have to go ahead and build career pathing for my future role. I can come here and start building my own career path. So I have my current role here. I can look at all potential next roles based on a lot of data points. It could be, again, past employees who've gone through this path. It could be based on some of the skills that I have and how close I am to a new role that has similar skills, versus a lot of inferences that I have from external networks, right? So let's say there are these transitions that are happening out there for your enterprise, maybe even in the TA space. That intelligence can feed back into this network and provide career paths. So I look at this particular role, it says I'm a potential fit. These are skills that I have on my role. These are skills that, let's say, are missing. And it also talks about potential top roles after that my organization has seen. So let's say I really like this direction. This is what I want to be close to. So I pick a specific role, and then it asks me to pick the subsequent role, right? So here again, I want to be a director of technology, go closer from a technology perspective. I can do that. I can choose my career path, and I can activate a career path. And now the system starts to correlate my data to the next role that I'm aspiring to be in, and starts to give me recommendations on how to build those missing skills, how to really gain relevant experiences on those specific core competencies. So here I see these are my skills, and some of the skills that I don't have, for example, if I look at, let's say, agile methodology, I may not have enough exposure to this. We can directly integrate with your learning management platform to bring out those courses, parse out their course descriptions, map them to our skill ontology, and provide recommendations on specifically what courses one can take to upskill from that. So I can really bookmark certain courses. I can look at certain skill requirements or skills that I would gain by taking this particular course that automatically get added to my profile once I create or I finish up this course. So now I have two things that is feeding back into my enterprise intelligence graph. One is the fact that I've chosen certain career paths. So that becomes a feedback to the intelligence where my colleague who's looking to grow probably 3 years from now, who's going to be in my role, maybe recommended a similar path. So that's automated. You don't have to come back and design what that path looks like. The second thing is the affinity towards an individual taking specific courses and an affinity towards developing certain skills is also correlated as a part of this experience and feeds back into the talent intelligence platform. And this is ongoing and goes over and over again. And all of this is just scratching the surface. These are some basic data points that we've encountered in organizations that we can use into this flexible architecture that can drive a lot of these efficiencies and recommendations. If, let's say, you have more data, maybe performance data, retention data that needs to feed back into the system, we can incorporate those. Or if you have any other requirements, please do get in touch with us. We'll be more than happy to engage in a conversation. Thank you.
I'm super excited to welcome one of our friends here at Phenom, one of our amazing customers, Ashley Blackmore, who is the Director of North America Talent and Operations at Newell Brands. Ashley, welcome.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Ashley, we've had you on so many programs in the past here at Phenom. You are definitely one of our most awesome advocates, and you've been definitely involved in creating a lot of amazing content with us. So I know Newell Brands, obviously, and I know some of the amazing brands that you represent. But for our viewers, could you give us the quick elevator pitch on Newell and some of the awesome brands that you represent?
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually have 100 plus brands, and we have 29,000 employees globally. We had in 2021 about 10.6 billion in sales. I know when people hear Newell Brands, they're like, "What is that?" But think of Sharpie, Crock-Pot, Marmot, Coleman. It's a Yankee Candle, wide range of great consumer products that fall under the Newell Brands umbrella.
Yeah, I was gonna say don't leave out Yankee Candle because we have holidays
No,
coming up, and those are
yeah,
my go-to. Those are my
yeah,
go-to when I
yeah.
can't think of the perfect gift for some of
We've
those
got some
relatives
new
I only see
scents. We've
occasionally.
got new scents coming
Love
out
it.
for the holiday. So
Yeah,
we'll have you all ready.
I'm excited. I'm excited. So, could you walk us through kind of what your current role is today
Sure.
as director at Newell?
Yes. So my current role it's definitely has multi layers to it. So director of North America talent acquisition. So I'm responsible for the recruiting team that we have in North America. Our team right now is about 28 individuals. So we also manage our contingent workforce. So that is all of our temps throughout the organization. I manage campus recruitment. We have a large intern program. Last year we had about 160 interns. And I manage our interview scheduling and that team as well. But my big focus and passion is obviously on this side. So the operations side, everything that's behind the scenes with recruiting, all of our talent branding, all of our systems, how they're integrated, and really how we can continuously improve and be at the top of the game with HR tech is really kind of my passion area. So that's a big part of my role.
Yeah, and working closely with you and kind of observing a lot of the awesome things that Newell has done over the past couple of years since I joined Phenom.
Mhm.
That concept of continuous improvement and
Yeah.
evolution has really shined at Newell. So it's been awesome to watch you and your team and Newell on that journey. What are some of the ways that you felt your role specifically has
Mhm.
evolved, over the years? Because so much in
Yeah.
talent acquisition has been evolving.
It's very true. Mine has changed greatly because I actually started out actually in an ops role that I was truly focused on solely ops. So then moving into this position, it's actually been about a year and a half now, really getting more involved with the recruiting team so that I can continuously improve, make the products better for them, make their jobs easier. Also really diving into what talent are looking for in this really insane market. I've been in recruiting for 20 years now, and it's just no one's ever seen it. I know everyone says that. I hate hearing unprecedented, but it is. And so just learning how to shift. We've had to all shift our roles, how we operate, how we go to market, how are we attracting talent. And with that, what's been great about partnering with Phenom is everything that we've looked at from the individuals at Phenom bringing me ideas and bringing me information is always huge. I've also been connected with other partners so that I can talk to them, see what they're doing. How are they operating in certain areas? Speaking of Yankee, we have retail hourly, which is a very different recruiting process. So was able to connect with some other customers in that area. But also too, how can our team shift to, again, market ourselves differently? So with that too, how do we also focus on our internal voice, our internal employees, and make it authentic? Because we've had a focus on our internals, I would say consistently. But when you look at the great reshuffle that we went through, as well as people looking at what they may want to do differently, the great thing about Newell is you can make it happen. We have so many different brands, as I mentioned, and divisions that you can move in between. You can also move between functions. But how do you make that easy? For our internal employees? How do you make that be all in one place? And so employee experience for us has been my main focus really over the past year, I would say. We implemented, it's been, I think, close to 2 years now, but how can we bring out and make job alerts better? So we worked very closely with the development team with you guys to put our input there and how we can improve. We have just went through kind of an update of the entire internal site. How can we market referrals better? How can we, make our internals more aware of opportunities that are out there globally? When you have 29,000 employees, it's hard to kind of get your mind around how do we do this? How do we make it constantly visible so that they know the opportunities exist and that they can go after them, that they can talk to their managers and they should feel comfortable talking to their managers about new opportunities. So that's been also a shift to where for a while it was a huge focus on external and getting as many external talent as we can to a shift of how do we make our internals a focus and how do we make sure they're engaged and that they are able to see opportunities within Newell. Also implementing and adding, we've had ERGs the entire time I've been at Newell, 13 plus years, but how do we also bring that into internal mobility and how do we add that into our engagement and make that more an open area for people to bring their authentic selves to work, which has also been a huge focus for me as well.
Yeah, you don't often see that shift in thinking and prioritization from the talent acquisition team. So I always love to see
True.
it. It really delights me when I see talent
Yeah.
acquisition teams and talent acquisition leaders such as yourself thinking more operationally and holistically about the end-to-end talent journey and
Yeah.
the benefits that reaps as you start to invest more in your internal employees. So before implementing and really focusing on optimizing your employee experience and your internal talent marketplace, how were your internal employees discovering jobs? What did that experience look like?
Yeah.
Obviously, you felt there was room for improvement and you improved
Yeah.
it, but what was it? Can you walk us through kind of
Sure.
how internals were discovering jobs?
Yeah, it was pretty bad, which is why I kind of went for, all in, right? As much as I could get out of the product. Before it was just through our ATS. And it was basically, I called it a data dump. It was a very boring page that just had all the jobs listed. It did have referral bonus listed. It had recruiter name. You could search by location, business unit, but again, very limited and also just not exciting whatsoever. And it really was just a true place to go and see the job and apply. That's all you're getting out of that experience. And so with that, you could also sign up for job alerts so that, obviously if you signed up for a certain function you were interested in, or if you were interested in a location, you would get an email as soon as we posted that role. However, those didn't always work. And they were not accurate. So we'd have analysts getting director level roles, for example. And so the technology, unfortunately, just was not great, right? So as soon as I saw you guys were offering internal mobility as a product, EX as a product, I jumped right on it for that very reason, because we really didn't have a great way of getting it out there before.
And once your internal employees kind of discover those open roles, what's the application process like from applying within kind of your
Yep.
talent marketplace, your employee experience?
What's great is I believe I've got it down to like a 3-click process.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So the easiest thing is, and what we encourage everyone obviously is to go in and create your profile first thing. Definitely to sign up for job alerts. And once you've done that, it's so easy. It truly is a couple clicks of a process, feeds over into our ATS. And then from there, we just move on with our own internal process that we have for internals. So definitely tried to make it as easy as possible.
Yeah, I love that. I love when the technology gets out of the way, right?
Yeah,
That's the
yes.
goal, right? Technology
Yeah.
should get out of the way,
Yeah.
especially when the employee has discovered the role, gets excited about the
Mhm.
role. You want to make it as in as few clicks as possible.
Yeah.
I know there's other hurdles, right, to really getting
Mhm.
internal mobility kind of off the ground. I know in
Yeah.
some organizations there's a bit of red tape. Maybe there's a culture of
Mhm.
talent hoarding where managers don't want their employees to discover new roles. They
Mhm.
don't want their
Yep.
internal recruiters reaching out to internal employees,
Mhm.
and it creates kind of this discord or this dissonance
Mhm.
culturally. So
Yep.
I'm curious, if you can talk through. Did you encounter a little bit of that at Newell? And if you did, what are some of the ways or that you handled it, or ways that
Mhm.
you tried to improve that? I think this is helpful for anybody who's listening, where that's the culture they're living in today,
Yeah.
and everything sounds great, and they want to dive in, but they
Right.
realize that's a potential roadblock.
Yeah. And I think I had the benefit because I was a recruiter for so long at Newell of hearing the internal voice, and kind of that very thing. Like my manager's holding me back. They I approached them about an opportunity, but I'm on a project. So, I can't move on. And when that happens, you tend to lose the employee. So with that, we have a pretty strong internal process in place as far as we have internal eligibility guidelines. So internals know when it's appropriate for them to apply for roles, as well as to have that discussion with their manager first. And so we've put a process in place, but as you said, change management and getting this information out is key. We have hired about 4,000 people in the past 2 years. And so that's a ton of new managers, a ton of new employees that we then need to also get the message out of this is our culture. we want to encourage internal movement. And by doing that, we want to have an openness between divisions, between all of our businesses and brands, and provide that opportunity so that individuals don't feel like, okay, I can only work within the food business unit. I can't move over to writing if I have interest there. So we've really tried to communicate it, and we partnered actually very closely with corporate communications. I actually did a podcast on it just to bring awareness to the site, as well as the availability of roles and movement, and that you're able to move. So I think that's key, is getting your key stakeholders as well as your leaders of HR very engaged in how we want to approach it as a culture of Newell. How do we want internals to feel? How do we want them to be able to make a move? And once we've done that, you kind of heard those conversations start to stop as far as being held back into a role. When I started, the culture it was a much smaller organization. We were Newell Rubbermaid at the time. And so it was a much easier discussion of moving between businesses, moving between functions of, for example, different functions within supply chain, going from demand planning to purchasing or whatever it is. It was much more, I think, a normal occurrence where people saw it all the time. And then we've had several shifts in leadership. So it's kind of a rebranding almost each time, which, yes, can be frustrating, but also necessary. So I think it is having the right discussions and what's in it for me. What are the benefits? I know a hiring manager never wants to lose someone that's a very strong performer, but also you want to, because that performer, you want them to continue to stay at Newell, not leave. So that has truly been kind of the focus that we've tried to put, is if we don't provide them these opportunities internally, you're just going to lose them as an employee regardless. So we'd rather have them stay at Newell.
Yeah, and I think it really shows the commitment to the employee. They feel it.
Yes.
And when the technology is working in their favor as well, you mentioned earlier, previously maybe they were seeing irrelevant roles, roles that they weren't
Yes.
quite ready for, fit for.
Mhm.
Now with newer technology, they're seeing those relevant roles. They're seeing the best fit
Correct.
roles based on their
Yes.
skills, based on their experience, and that's super
Mhm.
helpful. They feel that commitment. What are some of the results that you've started to see, over the
Yep.
past year or 2 years, that you've really rolled out this red carpet experience for
Yep.
employees?
Yep. It is. I have really found that we definitely have to consistently communicate about it, right? We did a large launch, right? And really put a big focus on it. But what's been helpful is to have continued discussion about it. So what has been very exciting to see, I would say, when I was recruiting, it was honestly a rarity that I would have internals apply. The hiring manager, first question, do we have any internals for the position? We weren't able to answer that question. So now we are able to look and view our internals. We are still working with our talent team actually on a process of, yes, we today as recruiters do not poach internals. So we don't go out and have those discussions first. We prefer the hiring manager have that discussion. So we are still in process of putting together a really set cadence of how that's going to work going forward. However, I have seen a significant increase in all of our internal applies. I can't remember the number from the last time I looked, but it was significant, going from basically maybe getting a handful to having hundreds. Also, we've had hundreds of referrals as well, which has been amazing to see, as well as our retention has increased and continued to increase since putting in the platform. So as you know, I'm an analytics data nerd, so I'm in there all the time. So just seeing all of these areas continue to move and hearing people on my team saying we've had so much more internal interest in opportunities where we have maybe 7 internals for a director opening. That's something we did not have in the past. So it's definitely working.
Yeah, and I know that we've recently featured Newell in a case study.
Yep.
We really appreciate you sharing your story and sharing some of those
Mhm.
analytics. And I remember reading one stat that just blew me away, which was your recruiters were able to fill, roles that typically took maybe 45 days to fill.
Yes.
When internal candidates were coming through, they'd be able to fill them sometimes in 5 days, which I
Yes.
just thought was incredible.
Yep. That was a major shift, which obviously was great to see. We can fill a role if we know the internal, we know they're a great fit. Yes, 5 days, or maybe 2 weeks. And where, yes, before, of course, a lot of the roles that we've had that have been pretty technical or specific, you're looking at a 45 to 60 day fill. So definitely very refreshing when we've been able to close, especially a lot of higher level roles. which is what you want to see, right? People continuing to move up in the organization. So being able to fill those internally is definitely a great story.
Yeah, and you mentioned referrals a couple of times throughout the
Mm-hmm.
conversation. I know, again, referrals is another amazing way to kind of fill that pipeline with high quality candidates. They
Yes.
already have some, familiarity with the brand, some
Mm-hmm.
familiarity with the culture,
Yep.
and the referrer wouldn't refer
Mm-hmm.
that person if they didn't think they were a good fit, because there's
Right.
some kind of trust in that
Mm-hmm.
exchange as well too. Do you have any best practices that you've discovered kind of rolling out and nurturing your referral program?
Yes. So something we've tried to take advantage of, obviously, is the marketing campaigns that we use so much with our talent community, but we've been using them more and more internally. So, for example, one of our business units, we had quite a bit open within automation, right? This is a big area within most companies right now. So we are competing against tons of different organizations, multiple offers, et cetera. So we actually raised our referral bonus specifically for that business unit. And then we were able to market that out internally through the system. We've got TV monitors up throughout all of our office locations. So we marketed it on the monitors. Also to making sure they knew that they could go directly through our EX platform and be able to very quickly refer a candidate to a role. We are also going to be starting some contests as well in the new year that we will look at who will refer maybe the most within Q1 is something that we're thinking, and we will have product giveaways. So trying to make it more of a competition because that is a lot of people at Newell are very results oriented and driven individuals that love a contest. So and we definitely, once we increase that bonus, saw an increase. So whenever we do that, we usually try to focus on tough to fill roles, or if we have certain initiatives that are going on within the organization, and when can we do that? When can we increase it or make it different to bring attraction to it? I also say good people know good people. So I have actually done quite a few lunch and learns this year to focus on that, to focus on referrals, to focus on how you yourself can work on your internal brand, how you can, show yourself so that, like you said, your network is seeing it so that you're getting more referrals and they're curious about what you're doing and about the organization. So we've also encouraged our employees to post more on LinkedIn, for example, just to get more out there about the organization so that people know who we are and that we can then bring additional individuals into the organization. We also are going to start looking at creating an alumni site as well so that we can work to try to get referrals possibly externally. That's a little hint upcoming. Haven't done it yet, but something that we've thought about too. That could be another great way. We have a lot of people that have left that still love to hear about what's going on at Newell, and possibly have great referrals since they know the organization well.
Yeah, and I think one of the benefits, you touched on this when you were talking about keeping referrals top of mind and promoting referrals, especially for some of those hard to fill roles, is once you have that talent marketplace, once you have that alumni site, you have all these contacts in your CRM. So you're able to proactively or automatically through automation send the right message to them at the right time. In addition to promoting referrals and also having your employees set up job alerts, are there any other unique or interesting ways you've really tapped into campaigns or the ability to send emails to your employees?
We did actually a competition for just social media, right? Just trying to get people to get out there, post. But the first thing we did actually was more setting up your profile and the benefits of setting up your profile, and send it just to every internal employee. It's so easy with the CRM. And we also have set up a calendar. So we will, because we're such a global organization and people are pretty siloed within their business units, we've done new product launches, just so people can kind of see the latest and greatest that's come out. Also, if there's been anything from corporate communications, if they put together a video or, something that's been going on with innovation, that's something else we will send out. So just trying to kind of keep the company informed. It's such an easy way within the CRM. And to be able to just filter it by internals and create a list. So it really has been very beneficial with things that have been going on within the organization, which is ever changing. And so I think too, going into next year, we will start looking at different ways that we can use it too, especially with our ERGs, because we have, our ERGs set up within our talent community as well. We have the calendar on there to make it interactive so everyone can see what's going on with the different ERGs as well. But I think we have a lot more that we could do there when it comes to internal marketing.
Awesome. As we begin to wrap things up, one question that I have too, we've acknowledged this here at Phenom. Your talent marketplace or your employee experience is only effective if your employees are coming back, right?
Yes.
They're logging in,
Yeah.
they're experiencing that visibility of those open opportunities. They're connecting with others through ERGs. So, what are some of the ways that you've really tried to boost engagement and boost adoption of the platform to make sure that they're not just setting up their profile once and then, it's just another thing they have to log into, but there's some incentive, there's some reason to come back and drop in?
Yep. So some things that we've been doing is really focusing, as I said, more on ERGs and really creating a community. I know there's going to be some future capabilities as well where we'll be able to post specific roles within those ERGs that I'm looking forward to. But also just we've used it for events and hiring events to help out some of, for example, Retail Hourly, Yankee Candle, they have a flagship store. So how can we help them? We actually use the internal platform just to market the information if people wanted to send it out to their networks. But some other things too, I think is we are pretty good, I would say, about trying to keep the content fresh consistently. I love the AI, of course. When you log in, there's going to be usually something new and a new job recommendation in there for you, as well as we are about to start a mentor trial with one of our BUs. So I feel like once we get that in there and people start realizing the type of communication that you can have within the tool, I think we'll see even more interaction. Also, we're looking at coffee chats and how do we set that up. So I think with again, kind of going into the new year, based off how much we've done this year, I think we will have more communication throughout the tool, which of course will bring people back in.
Awesome. You've already teased, my next question, which was, what's next, for Newell and Newell's employee experience. You've been teasing out certain things throughout the whole conversation, which is amazing, right? So coffee chats, mentoring, starting to really build up ERGs with some new functionality. Of all the things that you mentioned throughout the conversation, is there anything particularly that is exceptionally exciting for you that you're really looking forward to getting that pilot out or getting users to start engaging with?
I think for me, definitely the mentor trial, to be honest. We have been working off spreadsheets, right? Very manual. I used to call it like a dating process, like matching people based on what their interests are, right? Feels kind of weird, like you're almost setting up a date. So I'm excited to see what the mentor tool is going to do and how active everyone will be in the system. And so that I think is going to encourage, as I said, with us being so segmented, global, different business units, being able to have a mentor in another segment of the world or in another business unit, I think will go such a long way, as well as being able to reach out just to other individuals that maybe you see that that's the hiring manager of the role, but you don't want to talk to them yet, but you maybe want to talk to someone on their team. The fact that you can search employees in there and reach out and have open discussions and dialogue really is exciting to me, as well as really the ERG communities as well. I think there's so much that you can get out of an ERG, especially from internal and external recruiting purposes, that we can be using better, right? And utilizing it more. And I've tried to really be involved in having kind of chats or fireside chats with our ERGs so they can see how they can kind of help within the recruiting process, because we want our ERGs, for example, out on campus. So to help with campus recruiting, get people excited, know that they can come in and truly bring themselves to work. So I think we have a lot more that we can do, and that's what I'm looking forward to for sure. And Phenom always has something out of their back pocket, I feel, that they'll pull out, and I usually want it. So that probably will happen too.
Yes. And we've announced some new things today. So hopefully you'll get excited about those things as well too. And we'll be excited to dig deeper and understand how we can implement some of the awesome stuff coming up with Newell. You've been an amazing partner for Phenom. You've been an amazing customer. So thank you so much. Really appreciate your time today. Any final thoughts, before we really wrap up today?
I appreciate it. As you can tell, I also love you guys and have loved the product and what we've been able to do with it. So very excited to hear about all the new stuff.
Well, everything that you've done at Newell really reinforces your commitment to your employees, right? Your commitment to inclusion, your commitment to belonging, to making opportunities available for all. We really appreciate the spirit of that. And I love that you do it in alignment with the operational goals and the objectives of Newell as a business. It's when those two
Mhm.
things collide,
Yep.
that you really start to see these amazing benefits, not just for the individual employees that work at Newell and their ability to stay and grow, but
Yes.
for Newell to continue to do what you do and do it amazing with amazing people. So love to see it. Always, again, your success is always evolving. I feel like we're always touching base with you because you're always doing new and interesting things and seeing some amazing success there. So thank you again. Really appreciate it.
Of
And
course.
we'll look forward to the next conversation because I'm sure this won't
Yes.
be the last.
Yeah,
Thanks.
no, looking forward
Yep.
to it as well. Thank you as always.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes today's presentation. If you missed anything, be sure to catch the on-demand replay. So we've seen firsthand how an AI-powered talent marketplace and enterprise talent intelligence can truly transform your employee experience. And as we heard from Lindsay, talent agility, resilience, and transformation, these are no longer marketing buzzwords. They can be a reality. A special thanks to our presenters today and to Ashley from Newell Brands for showcasing their success and best practices. Trimming time to fill from 45 days to just 5 days in some cases, just by tapping into internal applicants, that is truly remarkable. If you want to learn more and continue your own journey, there are no shortage of next steps. There's a form on this page to request a personalized one-on-one demo of the platform. A one-on-one demo and a conversation really helps us best understand you, your unique challenges, your industry, and use cases, so that we can better showcase how Phenom can best help you achieve your goals. If you're not quite ready for a demo, no problem. We've written a talent marketplace buyer's guide. This guide contains over 85 essential questions to explore with vendors. It's a great starting point when looking to kick off the process. The link to download that guide is listed below as well. And on Tuesday, December 6th at 2 p.m. Eastern, we're hosting a live fireside chat, diving into how healthcare insurance leader Cigna has been prioritizing their employees' growth by moving towards a skills-based organization that makes internal opportunities more visible, actionable, and impactful for stakeholders. Our CHRO, Jess, who we heard from earlier, will be joined by Cigna's Effie Gaikas, Senior Director of Enterprise Talent Enablement, and industry analyst and thought leader, none other than Josh Burson, to share global trends in talent mobility and employee experience, and how Cigna specifically uses skills intelligence and a talent marketplace to evolve their workforce. The link to save your spot, and you won't want to miss this, is also below on this page. And finally, if you're an existing Phenom customer, on Tuesday, December 13th, we're hosting a live customer workshop. 5 ways to build a talent marketplace that works. We'll explore best practices to increase engagement and adoption. This is perfect if you've already implemented Phenom Talent Marketplace or Employee Experience, or perhaps if you're considering implementing it in the future. I hope to see you there. Of course, all the links are down below. No matter what challenges our industry may face, we are here to help. Head on over to phenom.com to learn more and get in touch. Thanks again for your time and attention today. We wish you a ton of success as we close out 2022 and look forward to 2023. This has been Experience Phenom Talent Marketplace.